Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. A noisy intro there, thanks to some zombie friends we had. Fun fact, that is exactly how I sounded for the past week. Like a bunch of dying zombies. And I can still actually, this is the first time I'm actually like speaking for a while. And I could hear a little bit of it still there. There's still some sort of resonance happening inside my head cavities that are a side effect of the cold that we're getting over. But let's attempt here very tentatively and slowly. Let's get a nice slow ramp up back into the schedule here, but we're going to continue with Far Lands or Bust here. It's been a while, Wolfie. Have a treat. Yeah, you needed some. We're going to continue with Far Lands or Bust here, episode 475 of the series. It is Monday, April 27th, 2015. The last episode was on April 17th, so it's been 10 full days since your last serving of Far Lands or Bust. And if you missed my little update video that I had in the middle of the last week, it's because I was sick. I am still possibly a little bit sick, to be honest with you. But more on that in a moment. People have been donating to Child's Play charity to help sick kids, perhaps, in hospitals around the world, getting toys, books, and games to them. We are up to $36,682.51. That is 73% of the way to our $50,000 goal this season, at the end of which I will finally press F3, and we will find out. I will press F3 live on the live stream and let everybody else know what distance we're at. Finally getting a new number there. Our last number was 1479940, about 1.5 million blocks from spawn. We'll see how far we've walked in the past year here in Season 5 of Far Lands or Bust. So keep donating at farlandsorbust.com is where you can go to do that. And I do appreciate all the donations and even the continued donations whilst I was away. And yeah, I really got taken out. Got taken downtown by this cold. It started, I mentioned it in the last episode of Far Lands or Bust. I had a little bit of a tickle in the back of my throat. Slightly concerning, and it surely, don't call me Shirley, but it surely did turn into a full-blown cold situation. Whenever I do get the cold, it starts out with a day or two of a sore throat, and then it translates to going to the nose and stuffy nose, and or to my chest and my lungs. I don't have asthma. Asthma runs in my family. I must have some sort of like underlying secret agent asthma hanging about that only pops up when I get sick, and then it goes to my lungs, and that can be a little bit scary because I need my lungs to breathe oxygen for survival. But this was a weird one. I haven't been sick in a while. That's another thing I was reminded of. I think the last time I actually got sick was probably Minecon Orlando in 2013. I got something from that. It was a minor cold. It lasted less than a week. But this time, like I said, last Saturday, and now it's the Monday after next. The Monday after next. And going on 10 days of an illness here. And yeah, I had a sore throat for longer, like 3 days. Then it kind of went to my nose, but not really. It was just like an overall feeling of sickness. And I did want to come back. I'm like, well, this doesn't seem like too intense. I didn't have a stuffy nose or anything. I wasn't hacking up anything. It doesn't seem too intense, but by the time Wednesday rolled around, I'm like, yeah, this is going to take longer. this is going to take a little bit of time to get over. So I decided to make that video to let everybody know what was up, just because we were on such a roll with the videos, and we came to a screeching halt. And yeah, I felt a lot better yesterday, Sunday. A lot better yesterday. But then last night, like, I had just absolutely horrible time trying to sleep because I just was coughing up a lung. I dropped a lung. It pretty much felt like there was like nothing if those of you who do have asthma or who have had some sort of chest colds before, you know, when you breathe, you wheeze or you feel stuff, substance in your lungs. I don't have any of that. It's just like a dry cough and thoroughly annoying. It's the bird flu, everybody. Enjoy. No, I don't know. So yeah, I'm hopefully getting over it soon here, and we can continue with our regularly scheduled programming. But yeah, today felt like a little bit like a half step backwards. Simply because I didn't sleep well last night because I was busy, like I said, hawking up a lung, extracting it from my body and wringing it out like a wet towel. Gross. So yeah, and now just talking right now, I can hear in my headphones my voice, and it still sounds a little bit nasally. And a few of you seem to enjoy the sick voice. You're like, it sounds like you, but it sounds like somebody doing an impression of you. It's not exactly KurtJMac. It's some strange alternate dimension KurtJMac. Stuffed nose KurtJMac. Nasally KurtJMac, but yeah, hopefully we can get through this episode of Far Lands of Bust. I've missed it. I've missed recording. I've actually, in my time away yesterday, like I said, I felt better. I put together, for the longest time, I bought a shelf, just a single shelf you can buy from like the Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. And then I bought some risers, little little feet from IKEA. You can buy little shelf feet from IKEA, and I wanted to make monitor stands out of that, and I did just that yesterday, and boy howdy, it's like a whole new game. No, it's a difficult thing once you've gotten used to a desk setup to then suddenly change it. Even something as simple as raising the monitors up about 4 inches or so totally screws with the whole cable management thing I had going on. I'm like, oh god, I didn't leave 4 inches of space on the cables and the monitors and the speakers. But it just changes. Like, my whole setup feels weird now. But we'll deal with that. We'll get the arrangement right. I also have discovered that I probably need to add a support in the middle of the shelf here, because it's kind of sagging a little bit. Monitors are heavy. I've got 2 monitors up on this thing, but hopefully no disaster befalls us. But so yeah, I did that yesterday, and I really just, I want to get back to work. And hopefully this is the slow return to work here with KurtJMac. Gosh, it's really annoying. People say I should go to the doctor. I never go to the doctor, period. And then I never go to the doctor for having the cold. The only thing I've ever heard people do, they go to the doctor for the cold and they get prescribed an antibiotic. That's not what the cold is. The cold is not affected by the antibiotics. It's a virus. And I made an interesting musing. When you are stuck at home and you're just sitting around and trying to get better from the cold, your mind wanders. And I was thinking about the cold as a virus. You look up just viruses in general, not computer viruses, but obviously biological viruses, which aren't biological. They're not even living things. They don't qualify as a living organism because they cannot exist without a host cell. Viruses are simply very unfortunate strands of DNA and protein that just happen to just mess you up. They're just floating around, messing people up, and they just ruin your day. They ruin your week. They ruin your 10 days. It's very strange to me. Life is strange. Life finds a way, and I just found that to be a very strange thing. Similarly, in like one of the best things I learned or gained, or even just thought I got out of chemistry class in high school. I think it was high school. Was you learn about, maybe it might have been biology class, one of the science classes. You learn about the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. You learn about life and evolution and like how life, animal cells versus plant cells, and you try to define what a living organism is. And what about fire? Think about a flame. A flame breathes. It breathes oxygen. A flame eats. It eats, start a piece of wood on fire, it eats the wood. It consumes. It reproduces. Flames spread. Like I said, it breathes. It moves. So you could even start to apply the sort of criteria for quote-unquote life to fire, even though we all know it does not qualify. A flame, fire, is not a living organism, just like a virus is not a living organism. The dang viruses? Have I been walking the wrong way? No, I haven't. Oh, I was just very confused by the compass. Alright, anyway. Maybe I'm not better after all. I'm still in a drug-induced haze. Let's go to sleep and continue walking in the morning. And I can still do the snoring noiseness. That has not been impeded by the cold. You will not take that from me, you dang virus. You will not take that from me at all. But continuing on here, yeah, a lot has happened since we were gone. Actually, a lot happened just today, Monday, April 27th. Kerbal Space Program 1.0 came out, so this is why I'm really looking forward to getting back to actually working. We were on such a good roll. We had Wayward Wonders. I missed the last few recording sessions of Wayward Wonders, so we have officially run out of those episodes. So oh god, that scared me. I thought this pig was going to ambush me. Ambush pig. So yeah, we're going to miss a few days of regularity with the Wayward Wonders. But hopefully I will be well enough to record on our next scheduled time with Brian, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111. We had, what else was I playing? Forza, the Forza series was going up regularly. I left off on that. We were having more fun in Wreckfest. And what else were we playing? We were doing, we were on a roll. We were like 6 weeks in a row with the weekly live streams. We missed the last one. So I hate that so much, that we were on such a roll and I was feeling so good. Yeah, YouTube and doing this work, doing the work. Then all of a sudden it came to a grinding halt here. Speedrunners and everything. I missed the last speedrunners, so the next this week's edition of speedrunners is going to be with the alternate crew. I think probably a video joined them. Co and Milby and MC Gamer. So yeah, we're gonna have to get back onto it, and one of those things I want to get back onto is obviously, like I said, Kerbal Space Program was released 1.0, and that is, I've gotten many questions. Ooh, are you gonna play Kerbal Space Program? Yeah, I definitely want to play Kerbal Space Program. That's what I said. I was kind of waiting for the 1.0 release. It is the most changes of any update, and we can start from scratch without worrying about losing past saves. I think it's a good idea to start from scratch. So yeah, I definitely want to do that. I can't start today, even though I did have access, they did give me access to the earlier experimental releases, so I could have, but I'm not going to get the exclusive. I do need some coal, so let's take a few moments to mine some coal. So I'm going to, it might be, I don't know, next week before we start seeing Kerbal Space Program back up on my channel, but yeah, you can look forward to that. I don't feel the need to withhold that information. Will he or won't he? Stay tuned. So yeah, we can look forward to that. Also, surprise information today. We got some video game, I guess, news we can go through. Codemasters has released an early access to the next Dirt game, which they've called Dirt Rally, and it looks like I'm fairly impressed. And I have been in the past, but it seems like Codemasters is one of these developers who has actually listened to the feedback. However negative it has very much been in the past for the past games, and they are releasing this Dirt Rally is going to be a pure, hopefully, we're hoping, at least at first glimpse here, a pure rally racing game. None of this drifting, gymkhana, stunt stuff from the Dirt 3 game and Dirt Showdown. A lot of that feedback also came from Grid 2, and then they came out with Grid Autosport, but it's still, they didn't, I don't think they listened too well with Grid Autosport. So yeah, they released Dirt Rally as early access, and I certainly am looking forward to trying that out. Obviously, Codemasters is one of those developers that we've played a lot of their games in the past. This comes on the heels of, what I was going to do, Dirt 3 was finally released on Steam, and they removed the Live for Windows, Windows Live, whatever the stupid multiplayer system they baked into it. They released it on Steam, and those of us, like myself, who owned a physical copy, could unlock the Steam copy for free. And that copy actually came with all of the DLC that ever came out for Dirt 3. So I was planning on reinstalling Dirt 3 through Steam with my physical copy and playing through some of the DLC with you guys with that, because we enjoyed Dirt 3 except for the Gymkhana, the drift segments. I think we enjoyed Dirt 3 pretty well. But it looks like I'm probably going to be skipping that and jumping right into Dirt Rally instead. So that's, I'm always looking for more reason to check out and try the, get my money's worth on the Logitech G27 racing wheel that I got. Of course, we were also playing with Assetto Corsa for a little bit, and I probably want to jump into that and play more of that Assetto Corsa stuff. I'm also looking to, I took to the interwebs and was like, you know what, I'm feeling the burn of the old computer here. Whoa, speaking of feeling the burn, let's avoid getting burnt by that lava pool over there. But yeah, I'm feeling the strain on the system. I have an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 570, a 570, which is many generations old. They're up to the 900s now. And I was like, oh, should I saw some sales on Newegg for a 760 or a 770 or whatever. I'm like, would that be a good upgrade just to do that, just to kind of bridge the gap until we build the new computer here? But I got a good suggestion. Hey, why don't you have, PCI Express 3.0, everything's still compatible. Why not just get the graphics card that you will use on your next computer, like get a GTX 970, which is the kind of mid-grade of the 900. And no, I don't ever buy I'm not going to buy a Titan or a 980. It's kind of against my MO to buy the best and the top and the greatest. You always just buy just a level beneath that just to get the best. It seems like the best bang for your buck comes from that. So I'm like, I might do that. So I'm thinking about that. Also thinking about I need to upgrade. Here's a question that you can respond in the comments. I'm deferring some knowledge to you guys. I have a C drive, and then I have a separate what I've named the G drive for all my game installs. I keep separately. If I'm running out of room on that is basically the story there. If I get a bigger hard drive, it's an SSD. If I get a bigger hard drive, like a 0.5 terabyte SSD, could I just swap out that G drive if I name it G still, and then just copy and paste all of those game files that are in the G drive to the new G drive exactly the same? Would that work? Or would I have to reinstall all the games and stuff? It seems like it would work, because the registry would still be there. All the targets would still be pointing at the files in the G drive. I would just swap the hardware and swap the files. All the files should transfer over, right? And like the computer would be none the wiser. I could launch whatever other game I have installed already, Speedrunners, and it would still be there. My Steam library would still be there. Is that something that would work? That feels like that's too convenient to work. Like that's how it should work, but no way, that's not how it's going to work. I would have to start from scratch and reinstall all my games. But yeah, help me out there. Let me know if that's actually something that could happen. Like I said, it's separate from my C drive. My system is on a separate hard drive from my G drive, which is where all my game installations are at. So yeah, let me know if that would work, because that's something else along with upgrading the graphics card. I would consider doing at the same time. Basically what I'm saying is I didn't have enough expenses on my 2014 taxes, enough tax deductions, so I'm splurging right now to get all the deductions I can get. Oh man. But yeah, so that's something we're looking forward to. See, I've had all this was on the up and up, and I'm like, hey, I'm getting videos out and sticking to a schedule and live streaming frequently, and everybody's happy and cheerful and whatever. But here comes a virus to screw your day. Screw you and your dang proteins and white blood cells. Screw you. Oh, man. So, yeah, we're back here in Far Lands of Us. I do have quite a few questions here that we can get around to answering. But actually, maybe we won't get to any questions today. This will be an old school Far Lands of Bust episode. We're just talking and walking and talking, getting stuck on a block and getting stuck on a block and Christopher Walken. I really like, have I mentioned this many times enough? You don't see any of these gradual hills in the current version of Minecraft anymore. Not a mountain, not an extreme hills biome, but just a gradual slope that goes all the way up to almost build limit. No radical cliffs or floating islands, but just a kind of a realistic weathered hill here. I really like these in this current version. In this version, we're playing in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, obviously. Obviously, I mean, you should know that already. I mean, come on. Yeah, I really like these, and I don't know that I see them much. I mean, there's plains biomes. They have very shallow rolling hills, kind of like that, but these kind of just one-off gradual hills. It does appear as though there is a sudden cliff on the other side of this one, but at least from one side, it seems undramatic enough, and because of that, I am going to build the elevated hidey hole for the night here. And oh, this is dangerous. Oh, very dangerous. I'm delusional. I'm delusional in my illness-induced mindset here. Neat. Yeah, this is a neat area. Well, Wolfie agrees, even though I've sat him down so he doesn't jump off the edge here. But yeah, let's go to sleep and we'll continue having a chalk. A chalk? Chalk. Just like the medicine. Chalky. We'll continue a talk in the morning. And a cloud in your face. Cloud in your faceness, indeed. Get out the way there, cloud. Alright, this is gonna hurt, I think. Yep. Alright, let's grab Wolfie and continue down the not-so-steep side of this hill. I do want to say, while I was sick, I did purchase the DVD Blu-ray combo pack of Interstellar. Interstellar was released, and I decided, since I would be spending a lot of time resting on the couch, that watching Interstellar again would be nice. I never did get to go out and see it in IMAX before it was removed from the theaters like I really wanted to. I only saw it once in the theaters, unfortunately. But I saw Interstellar, and I would like to talk about it. I think I mentioned it briefly before, but it was so soon on release, I didn't want to give spoilers, so I'm talking freely here. Loose lips, spoiler alerts ahead. I'm talking about Interstellar and my thoughts on it. Overall, I liked it, but it seemed like there were a lot of good scenes, but putting them all together didn't really make that great of a movie, if you can catch my drift there. Specifically, the ending I didn't like so much, and I did read while it was in production that they rewrote the ending a few times, which is never a good sign. So yeah, the ending felt a little bit weak to me. But overall, I thought it was, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I bought it, so I have it in my very limited collection of movies. And the soundtrack, Hans Zimmer, is that the composer? That, I think, perfectly went together. Very 2001 Space Odyssey, the operatic kind of crescendos and whatnots going on there. So that I really enjoyed. I do feel like possibly a reason a lot of people didn't enjoy it is I don't feel like they explained things well enough, especially the whole thing about the, what was it called? Speaking of viruses, whatever the virus or the thing that was spreading that was killing all the crops, it was kind of mentioned in passing, and I feel like I might have missed a lot of it the first time, but basically they explained that this scourge, or whatever they called it, that was causing all of the crops to die, was spreading, and it took out the wheat crops, and it basically feeds on nitrogen. So apparently it goes through the soil, because isn't soil pretty nitrogen rich? And because of that, they didn't really explain. I'm not sure how this virus or whatever that feeds, or it's obviously not a virus if it breathes, but this this disease that took out all the crops feeds on nitrogen, somehow that means that our atmosphere is getting screwed up to the point where the people by the end of the current generation are going to suffocate to death instead of starve to death. They didn't really make that clear. I'm not sure how, if some sort of, let's say, biological life form feeds on all the nitrogen in the air, how that causes us humans and other oxygen breathers to die. I'm not sure where that came from. Or perhaps they meant they exhaled nitrogen so that the nitrogen percentage in our atmosphere would overcompensate the oxygen. I'm not sure how they specifically said that. I do feel like that was a little bit, I mean, that was necessary to have the kind of the impending doom scenario. I was kind of wishing that it was like solely like, oh, global warming, you know, we screwed ourselves over. Like I was kind of hoping that was the climate disaster at hand, that they would have to try to find an extra solar life holding planet to hold humanity for. I kind of was hoping that would be the thing. It felt a little bit like a plot-based cop-out on their part, but I could see why they did that anyway, just to kind of hasten. We need to go now in order to save, you know, your daughter is going to die because her generation is going to run out of air. So I kind of understood that. But, you know, overall, I do feel like the whole launch sequence was cool, and a lot of the space sequences were cool. All the way up, you know, there was the big twist with, spoiler alert, Matt Damon. That I didn't expect. You know, that's always kind of cool when they leave that out of trailers, so you're like, in the theater, I was like, huh, this guy? I'm like, that guy looks familiar. Oh my god, it's Matt Damon. All right, so that was interesting. You could kind of guess where his plot lines were going to go, so I don't think that was too much of a shock that he turned out the way he did, as I'm sure it could have been. One of my favorite scenes is probably the docking scene after his ship blows up. Spoiler alert! And it leaves the what was the name of the main ship spinning out of control, and then Cooper has to dock with that station by spinning his spacecraft to match the spin and to rescue it. That's something that I don't think it's possible, but I wish we could reproduce in Kerbal Space Program. I think I mentioned that before, but I don't think that's possible simply because you can't get, you know, once you leave a station unmanned and you go to another spacecraft, it stops spinning, or it stops doing whatever it does. It kind of goes on to SAS mode. But that would be kind of cool to try to both sync up with the docking port, but then also sync up with the spin of the spacecraft. That would be kind of cool to do. That was a cool scene I really liked. That was really cool. I do feel like I kind of wanted, you could really tell, the thing that was a little bit disappointed in that scene, and even like the launch scene, you could tell that the actors obviously were just kind of feeling the G-forces. I kind of wish that they went the extra step and put them in an actual like centrifuge. That feels like that would be a cool thing to do, like to actually get the effects, obviously not make them pass out for real, but to get like some of the actual effects of the G-forces on their faces and to actually have them act through that would have been a cool opportunity, would it not have been? But otherwise, it was just kind of the fake, like, oh, I'm feeling the G-forces pull me off to this side, and I'm going to pass out now. So I was like, that would have been cool if they actually subjected the actors to that, but I don't know, maybe for safety reasons they did not or something, I don't know. But, so yeah, that was kind of cool. But the ending, okay, I can give them the whole... Yeah, I can see, like, okay, you can't travel through time. You've fallen into this black hole that has given you access to the fifth dimension, which then allows you to translate the fourth dimension, time, back and forth, but you can't yourself, you know, matter can't travel through time, but information can, and then by him messing with the gravitational fields, he can translate that information through time, because of the connection he has through the strong force of love that we do not understand. It transcends time and space. it's a little cheesy, but we'll give it to him. Whatever, dramatic, lovey-dovey stuff. I do feel here's something that I saw posed afterwards on the internet. On the internet, that narrows it down. I do kind of think it would have been interesting to see Cooper, Matthew McConaughey's character, a gender reversal there. What if it was a female pilot? What if it was a mother and a daughter? I feel like that connection, the whole movie could have been the same, but I think it would have kind of been spin on it, put on its head, and I feel like there could have been an even more significant emotional connection there, and it would have been a unique to have a female-driven lead role there. That really would have, I feel like, just seeing that, I don't know who I can attribute this idea to. It's probably just a passing thing on Twitter. But I feel like that really, I'm like, yeah, that would have been, that's a great idea. That would have really been interesting, to be honest. So that was kind of my only thoughts on that matter. And then the ending, I was a little bit disappointed in the ending. Like, here's a guy, okay, he translates the information needed to save mankind, to solve the gravity equation, and then he ends up somehow floating in space near Saturn, and he gets rescued. They don't really give him a hero's welcome. He's kind of just a dude, and he's like, not even given a private hospital room. It's like, hey, you were floating out in space, and we saved you. This whole station is named after your daughter. It holds your last name and everything like that, and we kind of owe the survival of the entire human race on your daughter and your findings, and you are a time traveler of sorts, having survived going through a black hole, but we'll just set you up here. We turned your house into a museum, but you could live in it now, I guess, just since that's what you know. So we'll see you later. Have a good life. It's kind of like, what? There's no some sort of presidential awards, this guy's a miracle of science. There's no hoopla about that. I don't understand. It seems a little bit underwhelming. So yeah, that's careful of A. So I do feel like the ending was a little bit underwhelming. And then, of course, he can go out and save the other female researcher who ended up at a different planet. In the time between, nobody else has sent out rescue for her. Like, nobody else has decided to go to try to check out these planets that perhaps are inhabitable. And they just kind of forgot all about that. Really? So, yeah, there's a little bit of, it's kind of like, the ending kind of soured the overall previous moments of the film. I almost would have been okay. I almost thought it was going to end when the screen flashed to white, when the black hole, the Tesseract thing was collapsing, and he says, "What's next?" I kind of feel like that would have been an interesting ending. People would have hated it, much like they hated the ending to Inception, but I feel like that could have, leave it up to the imagination of the viewer, I suppose. But I don't know. Those are my more complex and spoiler-filled thoughts on Interstellar. Really enjoyed it. Just specifically a lot of scenes. But like I said, overall, putting those scenes together didn't, I think, make too strong of an overall film. But yeah, it was good. Good all around, anyway. I have heard they are making a film version of The Martian by, who's it, Andy Weir or something? Basically a novel about an astronaut who gets left for dead on Mars, but it turns out he's not dead. I have heard there are early screenings of that. Oddly enough, I think starring Matt Damon. And they say that is kind of, a really good substitute. Like, it is what Interstellar should have been for a kind of space opera type of epic space film. So we'll look forward to that. I think that comes out at the end of the year, I think. Probably for Oscars season, who knows? But yeah, hey, how about this? Kind of an interesting... We made it! I made it without coughing up a lung and sneezing my brains out. So progress, upwards and onwards, and we can continue making progress in our fundraiser for Child's Play charity if you go to farlandsorbust.com. I would appreciate that very much, helping get toys, books, and games to kids in hospitals around the world. Thank you so much for watching. Glad to be back. We'll slowly ramp up. We can't expect a whole ton of episodes every day right off the bat, so we'll get back into it. We'll get back into Wayward Wonders. We'll try out Kerbal Space Program eventually. We'll try out this Dirt Rally business to see what it's all about, and we'll get back into live streaming hopefully this week. I was a little bit taken aback by last night. And I'm like, oh, I must not be totally over this. So we'll see. We'll see, and we'll figure that out. But I do appreciate your patience, and thank you very much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. I need my lungs to breathe oxygen for survival.